Welcome to the A.I.P channel where anything is possible, where we'll talk about anything and everything your heart's desire. And we're broadcasting on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, digital broadcasting, Spotify, Apple, and all where you get all your other favorite podcasts. So please enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to another night of fun and in the sun on a stormy night here. We're knocking the crap out of my mic. If you can see it in the video, tonight we're going to talk about the TV series. If you can see it, if you're watching YouTube or Spotify, I got the cover sitting here. This TV series came out in like 2015, I think it was. It's called Dig. It's I don't want to, if you're gonna go watch it, it's one of them kind of thrillers, psychological thrillers. You watch it, and there's always a twist in every episode. At the very end, there's a little twist, a plot point of is this person actually, when they're watching the whole time, are they trustworthy? Are this? Are they that? It's a good show. It was beginning when they start pushing certain people, start pushing certain agendas and stuff. But other than that, it makes you go, there's a cult running around that's trying to bring in the end of the world, basically the apocalypse. It's a Christian sect, it's a Jewish sect. They're trying to bring in the apocalypse, bring in the rapture. Of course, for the Christians, the second coming of Jesus. For the Jews, of course, just to bring in a new world. And what made me think about it, and actually I went, got on Amazon and bought this Blu-ray just so I could see the whole thing again, because it's hard to find it. The show, I found a couple episodes on YouTube, but as most of it's you can't. And it's one of them shows you gotta like watch every episode for you to understand what's going on and the character arcs, and and of course at the end it's just a big plot twist of epic proportions, and it's pretty crazy. But the if you're just taking it as fiction with just little dabs of of this and that, of potential whatever, but like that we're living in 2024 and they have built the altar to sacrifice the red heifer, which they had the red heifer in there. They have the 13-year-old priest who never stepped foot on ground. They had to go around and find the jewels in the chest plate of the high priest. They found the well of souls, and all this, and it, and now, like I said, now they have, I think it was 5 red heifers without blemish. There was a farm there in Texas. On the show, there's a lot of cloning and this and that. I'm not sure what happened in Texas why they got 5 red pure heifers that had never been worked, never been anything. There's lots of regulations on that, and they've built an altar over there, and over in Jerusalem right now to sacrifice one of them to start the beginning of working on building the temple a third time, which many many Christians believe that's what's going to bring in the rapture, and of course end times and revelations, gloom and doom, and you got and of course the Jews are this is they don't believe Jesus was a savior, that that this will be the first they bring it in, and it'll start a new world. During the show it was lots of crazy mess of going through, and I watched I but I let me backtrack a little bit. I was sitting there watching it. I watched it up to like 2 o'clock this morning. I thought about just jumping on here and recording this morning, but no, cooler heads prevailed, and I was a little tired. It's the I said the everything going on, all the twists and turns, keep you on the edge of your seat kind of deal. It's a like I say, it's a good series. You can order the video off of Amazon, but like if you try to watch it on Prime, you're not in the right area. I mean, I get you could get you could fix that situation, but I didn't want to mess with that. Have to do swap my location and all that kind of stuff just to watch the series. So and then all my other stuff wouldn't work right, and it's a hassle. So I bought the Blu-ray, and it's and like I said, in these worlds and times right now, things that make you go, it really does. Uh, Especially everything going on over there. If you can just get on YouTube right now, and man, there's videos on top of videos on top of videos talking about the red heifer, and man, there's just so much going on right now with the eclipse, and then they're going to try to the CERN's going to do a test on the same day as and time of the eclipse. They're going to send rockets out in space at the same time as the eclipse. I mean, it's just like chaos. There's people turn around and saying we need to watch out for our make sure your fuel tanks are full and water is full just in case. Potential big monster solar flares. And then I said, and then you got the red heifer and all the rapture stuff going on. It's a crazy world we're living in right now, and I said I wouldn't want to I had to wait for the DVD to get in or the Blu-ray or whatever, and before I could do this. I've been wanting to do this for about a week or so. I've been thinking about this video for a while, this show, and then I couldn't remember the name, and I finally started looking up, and then I was like, I knew it'd come on like the USA Network, so I just looked up every network show that was on the USA Network, and they actually have a list, and I went down through there, and I'm like, nah, that's not it. Look at the time frame and stuff, and I knew about the years. And then I finally found it, and I was like, that's it. And then of course I ordered it. But man, it's how the parallels of what's going on in the real world and what's potentially, how much of that story could be true and stuff like that. It was um, pretty wild, and um, the potential. Uh, there's so many zealot people that believe extreme things that I, I I believe that there is a group that does try to do something like that. If they infiltrated a few things, they were infiltrated in the FBI and all kinds of stuff, and like the church was in New Mexico, that kind of held the boys, for the high priest and up there, and they had all everybody, the police and everybody else, um, lined up, and uh, it's pretty wild. It's one of the ones, they start cleaning stuff up. And I said, I don't want to give away the show because I like to see, you know, like spoiler alert type deals. I ain't gonna say exactly what happened in the end. I ain't gonna say what happened, beginning, whatever. Just kind of points, and just sit there, and just ask that question: what if there is a group that's trying to bring in the end of the world? Are they trying to bring in the revelations, and bring in the apocalypse, and go to any means necessary to bring it in? They think they're doing, and when you see folks like that, they think they're doing right. They think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and at the end, there probably might be evil people, that's blinded by um, this thought process. You hear about cults happening all the time, and why people just go along with it, um, even though if somebody from the outside was looking in, it just don't make any sense. It looks absolutely crazy, and in no way in shape and form, like, man, there's no way I'd sign off on that. There's no way. But they like that group in New Mexico in the TV show. They got distrodden, broken people, and tried to help them. And then in the process of helping them, they used them. You get somebody at the very, very low, um, and I've seen that myself, in groups around here. They take advantage. Somebody's on the very bottom, and I got into a big argument one day over with a guy, and I remember people thought I was about to get in a fist fight with him, but it wouldn't. I wasn't going to fight him, but I was going to let him know my opinion. And when you have a church group quotation marks, and for the ones that are just listening, I'm holding up my air quotation marks. You see them, and then they take advantage of people. They're on their bottom. They're on the bottom of the end. They've got did some bad choices over life, and got a hold of drugs or something like that, and they turn themselves, hey, this place right here help me, and then you turn around. I know one place, and then you go over there, this nasty, nasty place, this terrible place, stinks to high heaven if you get around it, and they pay these poor people. They go and get jobs for them, and the place makes like $15 an hour per person. And they give them $5 a day, plus $5 a week or something. It was, yeah. And for and a bologna sandwich and a couple bottles of water, And I remember where I worked at, we actually helped some of them guys out and got them some food and got them some snacks and stuff, and some real stuff, and we'd help them out and feed them and stuff. So we felt bad, like, man, you can't live off a bologna sandwich and 2 bottles of water, and you're out here in the middle of summer in the South working in the heat and the dirt and the nasty shit. That don't work, So we would take care of them. That's when come up to the situation where I disagreed with trying to help somebody out who had, I know I'm on a whole nother story here, but he come out and was trying to help his wife and is suffering because he was in the program, so he jumped out, and then the place I was at wouldn't hire him because he dropped out of the program. And I'm like, well, hey, we got 2 companies here. We're 2 separate companies. We'll hire him another company. He's a good guy. He works hard. He busts his ass. And they're like, no, we can't do that. We want to keep this relationship with this company. And I went off. And I said, well, I don't never want to see no one again. I ain't going to train one. You show one him, I'm going to sit him in the corner and put a shovel in his hand, and I'm not going to do nothing. Because I said, we don't need to be using those people. They take advantage of people. They use people. And I don't want to be part of any organization who uses and downtrodden people just because they're at their lows. So let's beat them down some more and make them even worse, and make it where they can't get out. You're making $50 a week or whatever, and bologna fucking sandwiches. You can't do nothing else. You just got to stay in the program. That's just a money making scheme that you can turn around and get tax credit on. That's all it was. But, yeah, I apologize for that. That still irks me to this day about that. And you see that, you see them people that do that like that. You see the cults, they pick on, and the reason I even brought that up because of this, like this at the store, they were picking on downtrodden people. They're on down their luck, and then they turn around like, "Oh, we're your family. We love you. We'll bring you up. We're gonna do this and that." And no, I mean you've given them a place to stay, but you've used the hell out of them, and then on the show they're really using them. I don't want to give out any storylines or anything, but you'll see it's crazy and sad, and you think if it's impossible be actually happening in the real world, which as the show says, anything is possible, and we've seen crazier things. So, for the show, for sure, if you get a chance to check it out, I wish there's a way we get to, get all the episodes out on where everybody could see it. It'd be, I don't know. It just makes me. I feel deep down like, man, people need to see this crazy thing. They really do, because it's like, why in the world is this? Does this coincide so much well with this? And even though it's not like right now with the heifers and the altar and the Mountain Olives, there's not being secretive about it. The secret probably is how they got to that point. Hey, it took time. It took years. Like the heifer has to be, at a certain age. So, it can't be so old. It can't be too young. I mean, was it between 2 and 3 years old, and that's it. Between 2 and 3 years old, you can't. It can't have a plow been put on it. It can't be milked, anything, any kind of stress or anything on it, any blemish. And and all of a sudden they got and hadn't one in 2,000 years that matched the bill, and all of a sudden we got 5 of them right now. Possibly maybe 2 might fall out, but 3 will is right. In 2,000 years, and you haven't had one, and then all of a sudden now we got 3. That's the potential go ahead. I mean, are they going to sacrifice all 3 to help nudge us along? I don't know. It's one of them. One of them ones you need to watch your ass and see what happens kind of deal, I guess, because you get your head in the sand, and it might be not a good time to have your head in the sand. You might need to look around and see what's going on. Potentially maybe have you just a little bit of food up, a little bit of water, and it's things about to get weird around here. 2024 is going to be an interesting year, I think. It's 2024 is going to be a weird year. I'm hoping and praying for a great year for me personally, and my life and everything, but as a whole in the world and the country, and I think this year is going to be. It's going to be one of them years. I mean, it's election year, so it's always going to be weird little crap, and it's another, like I said, WYA, watch your ass kind of situation, so that's all I got on that tonight. Like I said, without saying spoiler alert kind of deals on the show, I don't want to do that. I'd rather see people go out and try to watch this and see the fresh and know like, whoa, at the end of the episode and beginning, during the episode, you'd be like, holy shit, is this really happening? Could this really happen? And, have the same mental state of what I've had, with it. I like to see people do that, and once you open that little mind thought on this, it might be time to go on down that little rabbit hole and start digging and looking some more. Or some people like to just bury their head in the sand, and it's easier, and don't want to accept that there's crazy stuff going around. And I don't blame you, but once you do open up that door, that Pandora's box of looking for information, you'll keep digging and keep digging and looking for truth, and kind of counter, don't just take, well, this person said it. All right, no. Okay, let's get some corroborating words on that. Okay, I mean, and even just, you get multiple point of views and put them together, because, one person don't know everything. This year is going to be a year of revelations. Lots of stuff are going to come out. It's going to be a year. So, as always, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all's listening. Check out the Troubled Minds for sure. The KUAP Digital Network. Check out the YouTube channel. They broadcast on there. It's gonna be. There's a lot of great people that's on there. Please like and share. Let people know that you enjoy this. If there's other like shows like this, please comment. Let me know, like, hey, there's another show just like this. Check this one out, Reed, and I'll check it out, and I'll do a review on that. Like I said on my last episode, if you hadn't checked it out, lots of changes in mine, and it's been crazy. But I'm back. I'm gonna get back to recording and getting information out to everybody. So I sure appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all listening, and for sure, if you're always listening all the way to here and at this point, thank you. And as always, keep on keeping on, and peace and chicken grease. Be good.